First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
Pittsburgh begins the sad task of burying the victims of a vicious attack, and Gainesville again sends words of comfort.
And residents are warning Gainesville commissioners not to get it wrong when it comes to affordable housing. We begin with the first funerals in Pittsburgh and a visit today by the president. I'm Mary Grace Scully.
And I'm Samantha Serbin. As NBC Jay Gray reports, the president's visit comes as so many continue to struggle with what happened.
At growing memorials and temples across the city, Pittsburgh gathers to say goodbye. Today, the first of 11 funerals. Brothers Cecil and David Rosenthal buried side by side, the way they spent most every weekend at the Tree of Life Synagogue. A separate service was held for Dr. Jerry Rabinowitz, and tomorrow other victims of the massacre will be laid to rest, honored and remembered by a community struggling to understand why they're gone.
We want an easy explanation, and maybe there just isn't one. And I just hope as we lay our neighbors and our loved ones to rest that we just think about those things that unite us.
President Trump travels to Pittsburgh carrying the sympathy and support of the nation. First Lady Melania by his side, along with daughter Ivanka and son-in-law Jared Kushner, both members of the Jewish faith who urged the president to visit. Still, there's been pushback here. Leaders of Bend the Ark, a progressive Jewish group, publishing an open letter saying the president's not welcome until he denounces white nationalism and stops targeting minorities in his rhetoric and policies. Still, the rabbi of the synagogue inside as the shots rang out says it is important for the president to be here.
It would be my honor to always meet a president of the United States. We turn to the leaders of our country.
During their time of need, unlike any the Jewish faith has ever faced in the U.S. Jay Gray, NBC News, Pittsburgh.
Gainesville is paying its respects from a special service Sunday night to an event at UF yesterday to a gathering at City Hall this evening. It's just getting underway at this hour. WUFT's Zach Oliveri joins us live from City Hall.
Religious leaders from different faiths are standing united, along with members of local government. The Alachua County Faith Leaders Association is issuing a statement about what happened in Pittsburgh. I spoke with the group's co-founder earlier today.
Saturday's shooting at the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh was felt by all religious leaders in Gainesville.
To hear that a group of people who are worshipping, who are celebrating life, suddenly have their life taken from them, really, sadly, in this day and age, is not a surprise, but still an overwhelming sense of grief.
Reverend Catherine Dearlove is the co-founder of the Alachua County Faith Leaders Alliance. The group is issuing a statement against anti-Semitism.
We really wanted to come together to speak out against anti-Semitism, to speak out against hate, and to promote love. You know, love does have to have the louder voice than hate.
22 religious leaders representing 18 places of worship plan to show unity on the steps of City Hall. The gathering follows a special service Sunday night at B'nai Israel and a ceremony yesterday on UF's campus.
As a group, we want to stand together with our Jewish friends and say, we can make a difference. We can make the change in this world.
In the statement being delivered behind me, the message is that hate rhetoric and anti-Semitism will not be tolerated in this community. They hope to unite the community behind a belief in love for all. Live from City Hall, Zach Oliveri, WUFT News.
Thanks, Zach. Gainesville is collecting a fresh round of opinions on a controversial plan to spur affordable rentals.
Critics say the idea would bend zoning rules so much it will break neighborhood character with unwanted density. WUFT's Casey Alberton joins us from the newsroom with more.
Thanks, Mary Grace. So the second neighborhood open house is going on right now. I went to the first one yesterday and about 50 people showed up, but opinion is still all over the place.
A community coming together to compromise.
It's not beneficial, no, it's essential. It's absolutely essential because people cannot get out of their own economic way unless they have affordable housing.
It's going to end up hurting our city rather than helping people.
Or at least trying to. The Gainesville City Commission's first open house on an affordable housing proposal brought passion on both sides. The plan called GMV Rise would exempt normal zoning rules for projects to build affordable rentals. At this downtown forum, people filled out sticky notes with their opinions, completed surveys, and mingled. Some were focused on the cause.
We're totally committed to doing everything we can to make affordable housing more accessible in Alachua County.
Others worried about existing neighborhoods getting stuck with unwanted apartment buildings.
That creates problems with parking, pollution, no concern for the elderly folks.
Other students like to party, and we've had people living next door that throw parties, open keg parties in the front lawn for 100 people.
City Commissioner Adrian Hayes Santos says the meetings are being held to hear opinions.
It's their city. I mean, I think it's important we talk to everyone.
Others are not convinced this process will reach a consensus.
They wouldn't even remember our conversation. Because you have to write stuff down, you have to analyze it, then you have to speak to it. This is just like a little gossip session.
There are a couple more open house meetings to go. Next Wednesday, the West Side Rec Center will host from 4 to 7 p.m. The next Saturday, it will be from 9 a.m. to noon at G-Tech on the east side of town. The City Commission will meet November 29th to discuss the results of the feedback and decide what's next. Reporting live in the UF Newsroom, Casey Albritton, WUFT News.
Thanks, Casey. The weather has been so pleasant the last couple days, my Grace.
I know, this weather is ideal trick-or-treating weather too, though. So let's head to the Weather Center, where WUFT's Justin Revis joins us to let us know if this weather will last through Halloween.
Well, Mary, Grace, and Samantha, thanks to this high pressure sitting right near north central Florida, we're going to see clear skies and pleasant conditions at least through to trick-or-treating on Wednesday night, tomorrow night that is. Look at this live footage from the UF Weather Center right now. Clear skies thanks to that sinking air from the high pressure, 81 degrees, a nice breeze at 6 miles per hour. You know, pretty pleasant out there. And then right now, temperatures for the rest of north central Florida sitting pretty similar at the low to mid 80s. And then as we move into the night, cooling off fairly fast. And then for your Halloween forecast, it's going to be pleasant conditions. Back to you.
Thanks, Justin. A GOP office in Volusia County is taking extra precautions after someone fired shots into the storefront site over the weekend. Police are investigating, but it's believed the security cameras at the strip mall location were not functioning. 4 shots were fired through the windows sometime after staffers left for the day Sunday afternoon. The county Republican Party says it will make sure no one is working there alone through the election.
With Election Day 1 week away, we've been counting down with a series of profile on different voters. WUFT's Hazley Pittman sat down with one woman from Newberry who is ready for something new.
Craziness. That is how Jessica Baker describes her family's daily routine. She helps her 2 children, Quinn and Scarlett, leave for school and then commutes to Gainesville for work at UF's Center for Latin American Studies. After work, the games begin. Baker's family enjoys playing video and board games. Her husband says it has many social elements.
It's more than just like sort of like drinking or sitting around and talking about football. I mean, you're doing something, but you're still able to like hang out with and talk to your friends at the same time.
But games are not always just fun and games. Baker says her and her husband have very different gaming styles.
And he's like, oh, we're just hanging out. And I'm like, we need to win.
But their gaming philosophy is not the only thing they clash over.
There are things that we absolutely disagree on, like entitlement reform, affirmative action, some things like that where we sort of sharply divide.
Baker is a 3rd-generation immigrant from Germany.
She has a very deep background and a lot of different viewpoints than I do. You know, I'm a child of the South.
She was born in Indiana and moved to Florida during high school. Her late father was always involved in local politics, inspiring her to attend city commission meetings and even run for a seat on the city commission last spring.
Just that level of civic engagement, I've always felt like you should be a part of it because of him, because he always was.
Baker's hoping this upcoming election brings a blue wave with candidates such as Andrew Gillum and Bill Nelson. She works with undocumented students and has seen how current policies affect them. Working in the school system, Baker also hopes to see Florida's education system reformed.
even if all the people don't get voted in, that some do, that it's enough to start a change at least.
Just like she wants to win her games, she hopes the Democrats will take home the win as well. Hazley Pittman, WUFT News.
Henry Coburn will join us later with more political news, including the big picture nationally, 1 week away from the midterm. With Halloween just 1 day away, Alachua County Sheriff's Office is preparing to keep your children safe from sex offenders. They can't disclose their plans due to public safety issues, but they say they will be watching the more than 400 known sex offenders in Alachua County. Florida statute prohibits sex offenders from passing out candy, dressing in costumes, or decorating their homes for the holiday. They must also leave their porch lights off. Local law enforcement encourages parents to call anytime they see anything suspicious.
We know who those offenders are. We'll be doing our steps to recognize where they might be and what they may be up to in your neighborhoods.
Local law enforcement encourages parents to call anytime they see anything suspicious.
Alachua County is using a form of horsepower, literally, as a therapy service for victims of sexual abuse. WUFT's Serena Nunez has more on how the animals can help people recover.
Alachua County Victim Services and Rape Crisis Center is again offering a special program for survivors of sexual violence. A psychotherapy group will center around interacting with the horses at local groups Horse Empower and Horses Helping People.
The group allows people who have been through this type of traumatic experience to be able to learn to trust themselves again.
Advocates say horses and other animals can help with healing with their unconditional love.
I happen to be an animal lover and I own several animals, and I know even if I'm grumpy, my animals forgive me, they still love me, they don't care. They still greet me at the door as if I'm the greatest thing they've ever seen.
Horse therapy sessions will take them beyond regular therapy sessions.
This is something different. They're out here in the fresh air, in the sunshine, and the birds are chirping, and it's just a beautiful environment. And then there's the horses.
The horses help the victims practice to rebuild relationships and trust. Many say they watch people's lives change before their eyes.
And I have seen the impact that the horses have on the girls personally many times over.
Sessions are held as often as possible for several target groups.
I have seen literally miracles walk out of this group.
Interested individuals are not required to have reported the crime to participate in the upcoming program. Serena Nunez, WUFT News.
The group will meet at Hope's Therapeutic Riding Facility in Archer. The next program begins November 10th, and those interested in participating must register by November 9th.
Coming up on WUFT News, an opportunity for some to make a difference in the life of a child.
And an opportunity for all to vote on the direction of the nation. We'll look at the national balance of power that's at stake in the midterm election.
And after the break, I have the rest of your spooktacular forecast.
First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
3 people arrested for robbing a local gun store. Now, how many unlicensed guns are still unaccounted for?
And how grants are giving new microscopes and lab equipment galore to many Marion County teachers.
Good evening, I'm Mary Grace Scully. Deputies have made arrests in the case of weapons stolen from a Gainesville gun shop.
And I'm Samantha Serbin. Burglars broke into Big Daddy's guns. Several have now been recovered, but there's still an active search. WUFT's Casey Alberton has an update on store security and the missing guns.
Barred doors.
That's perfect.
And bigger locks. The owner of Big Daddy Guns says they will protect the store in the future.
This will all be barred off. Basically just making it harder for people to get in. You know, like I said, you can't ever really stop somebody who's really determined. The goal is to just slow them down.
Late Wednesday night, a group of robbers broke into the store and took over a dozen guns and then fled on foot.
When the burglars entered Big Daddy Guns, they went over to these cases that you can see are now empty, and they stole several guns. Then they stole a Glock 45, which is only available starting last Saturday.
7 of the 13 guns were recovered when 3 suspects were later caught. A tip about someone wanting special ammunition led to the arrests. Gun thefts are up this year in Alachua County.
There have been more guns stolen year to date in 2018 than there were in all of 2017, which is one of the reasons that we do remind folks don't leave your guns in a vehicle.
Authorities say most stolen guns are taken from parked cars. Store burglaries are much less common. While worried about the missing guns, Tony McKnight says making the front door more secure is an easy fix.
Well, I'm pretty happy about that because it's a fairly minimal improvement to eliminate one more threat. So yeah, we're pretty happy about that.
He says his gun store is more than safe for customers.
They really don't have anything to worry about coming into the store as long as it's during daylight hours. After hours, yeah, you might have to worry about that, but coming in the store with us, no, there's nothing to worry about for that.
And although gun thefts are up, the sheriff's office says more guns have been recovered than last year, too. And we hear stories all the time about teachers going the extra mile and digging into their own pockets to buy supplies. There are some grants out there, too, for those determined enough to jump through those hoops. WUFT's Serena Nunez shows how one Marion County chemistry teacher is taking advantage.
New educational grants are giving teachers in Marion County the chance to fund their classrooms. Ewan Hunter came from Scotland 2 years ago and now relies on grants to help with supplies at Vanguard High School. With programs like Grants for Great Ideas, Hunter is able to supply his students with $30,000 worth of supplies.
I had to write that grant just to get the basic chemicals and equipment that kids need to do chemistry, because chemistry is a practical subject.
His students today were busy with experiments.
You put calcium before you get the scandium, yeah?
The Public Education Foundation of Marion County is distributing $50,000. This money goes to teachers and principals with compelling stories to tell, like Hunter's.
The kids that I teach are so great that I don't want to be the limiting factor that holds back what their potential will be.
Hunter says he'll go after every grant he can to give his students the best experience. Serena Nunez, WUFT News.
To learn more about the statewide impact of teacher grants, visit educationfoundationsfl.org.
Gainesville police are hoping the public can help with a rape investigation. This morning, a woman who had stopped briefly on her bike ride to work was pulled into nearby woods and attacked. A passerby found the victim and called police. This happened at around 10 a.m. in the 7100 block of Southwest 41st Place. Anyone in the area at the time is urged to call police. The suspects are described as fairly big men in their late 30s or early 40s. One may be 5'10" and 240 pounds, the other 6'2" and 300 pounds.
You know, Sam, we've been starting to see a pattern of afternoon showers these past few days.
Yeah, but let's hope those skies clear up soon. WUFT's Justin Revis joins us now from the Weather Center. Justin, when can we expect to see clearer skies?
Well, ladies, we are still tracking a few storms in the area. This is a live look right now. We have this cell just west of Stark, and it's going to continue moving west as we move in through the evening. Now just a look at as we move into the evening, as we get closer to sunset and around midnight especially, we're going to see these storms continue move west with the Atlantic sea breeze and will clear up. Now I do have some good news for those of you who've been looking forward to the fall temperatures. The upper 60s are on the way for our lows. Tonight in Gainesville, 69 in Lake City, 69 in High Springs and Bronson. Still along the coast though, we're going to see those higher temperatures, and this is just the hour by hour. I want to reiterate again that we are going to be clearing out by 8 p.m. tonight and in the low 70s and at 69 by 6 a.m.
Thanks, Justin. American Airlines will be adding service between Gainesville and Dallas next spring. Today's announcement says the flights will be twice daily, non-stops, flying year-round starting March 3rd. The service to Dallas will open up more than 90 destinations, and reservations will begin next Monday.
Car buyers can help fuel a Florida voucher program for children who have been bullied. Beginning this week, car buyers can steer $105 of their sales tax towards the HOPE Scholarship Fund. The statewide scholarships benefit students in the public school system who have been bullied or attacked while at school. The money is used on tuition costs to send the student to a new school or pay for private school tuition. The process is simple. Dealerships will include 2 extra forms to fill out, and just like that, the donation has been made. Gatorland Toyota's finance coordinator says it's so easy, he expects everyone to contribute.
So I would think everybody who would probably be able to donate if they're purchasing a vehicle that's qualified, why wouldn't they?
And new vehicles that are leased or weigh more than 5,000 pounds do not qualify for the donation.
Online retailer Amazon says that they have announced they are raising minimum wage to $15 an hour for all U.S. employees. The company said it would implement the new policy starting next month. The new minimum wage will benefit more than 250,000 employees, plus another 100,000 seasonal employees. The company had been facing criticism for its pay structure. In a statement, CEO Jeff Bezos said they listened to their critics and considered what to do. He went on to say that he is excited about the change and encouraged competitors to do the same. Some of them have already been. Target announcing its holiday hiring release that it will raise minimum wage to $15 an hour by 2020, and Walmart already raised their minimum wage to $11 an hour.
Fall is finally here, but that means flu season is here as well. Several businesses are offering flu shot freebies to encourage residents to get vaccinated. CVS Pharmacy will give you a coupon for $5 off a $25 purchase when you get your shot at one of their locations. Publix has in-store shots without an appointment, and you'll get a $10 gift card when you get your shot. Registered nurse Carol Martin got her shot at Publix and says she understands the importance of getting vaccinated.
Well, as a nurse, I've seen people die from the flu or flu pneumonia. I have a real belief in vaccinations.
Walgreens will help give a vaccine to a child in a developing country when you get your flu shot in one of their stores. You can schedule an appointment with Walgreens online or walk in to a Publix or CVS Pharmacy to get your shot.
And the Alachua County Commission met today to talk about the homeless and the next steps for Grace Marketplace. The County Commission decided unanimously to discontinue the Empowerment Center Oversight Board. The board was criticized for not having any authority. The lack of say in operations at Grace Marketplace has led county commissioners to discuss reallocating their financial commitment to other social services. The county and city of Gainesville have contributed equally to Grace Marketplace funding. Both are paying more than $500,000 this year.
That we should be doing the things that we're good at, which are the social services, the mental health services, and the city could focus on the things that they're good at, which is the homeless facility and housing component.
The main takeaway from today's meeting was county commissioners wanting more of a say given the county's share of the funding to make sure it's going toward an effective way to deliver services.
Coming up on WUFT News First at 5, just 7 more days left to register to vote.
Plus now it's been 5 days since the tsunami and earthquake struck Indonesia. Those stories and more coming up after the break.
And coming up, I have your extended 6-day forecast.